Broadcasting live. It's America's longest running talk show on computers. It's Computer America, bringing you the biggest names in technology with guest interviews, new products, and your emails. Listen live at computeramerica.com on any device around the world. Email the show at live@computeramerica.com or find us on social media. Be sure to check out our website for contests, giveaways, show notes, live video stream, podcasts, and more. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome everyone into the Computer America Show. We are the nation's longest running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers and technology. Everyone, welcome into the program. Today on the show, we have computer and technology news, and we have some big news indeed. If you didn't hear, this just happened recently as of this recording, but Bungie, who a lot of people may know for, of course, first developing Halo underneath Microsoft, well, they split a long time ago away from Microsoft to be their own independent game studio, get out from the shadow that was Halo, and develop something called Destiny and Destiny 2. Well, the big news is that you won't believe who has picked them up for a record $3.6 billion acquisition. Yeah, it's really capping off this January of video game acquisitions nicely. And, well, spoiler alert, Sony. Sony, the makers of PlayStation, have purchased, well, the makers of Destiny. And, of course, Bungie, Microsoft's old fling. So, of course, you can check that there. But everyone, computeramerica.com, that's where you'll find everything, past shows, future shows, everything you need to know, including articles, reviews, show notes, podcast, social media links, all that and more. Be sure to check that out. And everyone, I hope that you are ready for today's program. So let's go ahead and get things started with computer and technology news. Here we go. So I think we'll just start with this one, and this article is covered by videogameschronicle.com, and of course that's where we'll have in the show notes, but let's face it, this is going to be everywhere. This is a big one. Sony Interactive Entertainment is set to acquire Destiny and Halo studio Bungie in a deal worth $3.6 billion. However, after completion, Bungie will be an independent subsidiary of PlayStation and remain a multi-platform studio. There you go. In a statement, Bungie said that all cross-platform support for Destiny 2 will continue and confirm its future games will not be PlayStation exclusive. This just drips with, if someone could be petty, and not really petty, this is clearly Destiny and Bungie. Bungie is a great studio that makes amazing games. It's not so petty in that this is going to be a really good deal for Sony. It's petty because obviously Activision Blizzard, they was acquired by Microsoft this month. And there was this whole, will Call of Duty games be available for the PlayStation? Will future titles be cross-platform compatible? Will Microsoft try to make a lot of the big ticket games exclusive to a PC or an Xbox? And almost to the week, Sony comes in with their own multi-billion-dollar deal. Like, if Activision Blizzard had not happened just a little while ago, this would be the biggest news all month. This would be huge. And they make it a point multiple times to say, our games are going to be multi-platform compatible. Our games will be multi-platform compatible. It will be available on all platforms, blah, blah, blah. And that's language that Microsoft didn't commit to as readily. So you can see where PlayStation is pulling one of the gems from Microsoft's own history and saying, look, we are going to make this cross-platform compatible, and if you don't, well, we're going to take Bungie for ourselves. It's a bit strange, for sure. So they mentioned that Sony president and CEO Jim Ryan said that the decision to acquire Bungie was motivated by a strategy, quote, to expand the reach of PlayStation to a much wider audience and to, quote, evolve the gaming experience that we build, end quote. Bungie has created two of games' most iconic franchises, Halo and Destiny, and has deep expertise in bringing incredible immersive experiences at great scale to the community through games that evolve and develop over time. And yeah, Bungie's successful track record in multi-platform publishing and live game services will assist us in realizing PlayStation's true ambitions. There you go. It goes on, so on and so forth. There's a whole quote here by the press release that happened. But let's go and check this out. They said that the head of PlayStation Studios said Bungie's technical expertise and experience building communities would be shared among Sony's other developers. And you have to admit, Destiny and Bungie in particular, has done a very good job of reaching out there to their community to do spotlights, to do updates, to have a good conversation with their users, to see what they like, and most of the time deliver on what they like. And yeah, the fact that Sony wants to build and continue that tradition among their other developers, I think that's something that Bungie could definitely assist a number of other franchises with. Now, they're saying that in its own statement, Bungie claimed that joining Sony would help it become a global multimedia entertainment company. And recently, Sony has been actively transitioning its game franchises into Hollywood movies. There you go. You can definitely think about how Halo, in particular, it just released a trailer for its television series that should be premiering on Paramount. Now, they're saying that our original universes have immense potential, and with Sony's support, we will propel Bungie into becoming a global multimedia entertainment company dedicated to delivering on our creative vision. There you go. PlayStation has become known for its blockbuster single-player games such as Spider-Man, The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. But last May, Sony said it planned to develop a more service-led experience with its first-party roster release both on and off console. And, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, you have the mobile industry that's huge. You can't deny if you're a game developer. You have to have some sort of presence in the mobile world if you want your revenue to grow, because that's just where a lot of the money is going. And, they've seen instances of Genshin Impact and Fortnite both just grow immensely and just be the headliners when it comes to revenue for the company, and they want more of that. So they mentioned that Sony has often talked about free-to-play, games as a service, and multi-platform experience being a significant growth driver for PlayStation, and they said that Bungie previously announced that they will bring at least one new IP to market before 2025. There you go. And now that will be under the flag of Sony. They also mentioned that the Bungie deal caps off, obviously, the big month. And I actually also forgot, Take-Two buying Zynga as well. The maker of like Farmville and stuff. Yeah, Take-Two bought Zynga, and then of course Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard, and now Sony bought Bungie. It was a big month. It was definitely a big month, and I think the stock prices being what they were really, really motivated a lot of this. A lot of stuff was on sale, and the companies with the cash to do it. This is a different kind of pickup. I'm honestly surprised to read this, but I think Bungie and Sony have had a good working relationship for a number of years now. So it's surprising, but also not surprising. So there you go. Now, speaking of video games, let's go ahead and talk about this one real quick. People need to realize that when it comes to copyright, it's a use it or lose it kind of thing. You of course have to use your copyright, so Disney has to put out new Mickey Mouse memorabilia. They have to do, new iterations of it. They have to do, so many things to make sure that they are actually utilizing the trademarks that they have acquired. The other part is they have to defend them, because if you pick and choose what you defend, then whatever you don't defend, you kind of lose. It's not like I can say, my friend Ryan can use, this thing I made, but then my friend John, he can't use the thing I made. And I'm going to bring my full legal litigation down on John and ignore Ryan doing the exact same thing. No, you can't piecemeal it. Either you defend it, it's your company, your trademark, your patent, or it's not, and you have to defend it across the board. Which leads us to Nintendo. And Nintendo is famously very protective of their IPs. You could think about things like Mario, Zelda, Kirby, so many other, Pokemon, of course, so many titles. And Nintendo hits another one with a YouTube channel that's been up for a little while, but it finally got enough attention that it got Nintendo's attention. Nintendo hits YouTube soundtrack channel with over 1,300 copyright blocks, saying that the Japanese publisher continues its crackdown on people sharing Nintendo music via YouTube. There you go. Now, a YouTube channel that uploads video game soundtracks has reportedly been sent over 1,300 copyright blocks in one day. This news isn't shocking if you know Nintendo's track record when it comes to fan creations and communities, but it's still frustrating as much of the music that is removed from YouTube is still not streamable on services like Spotify. And that's very, very true. It's not. Yesterday morning, YouTube Gilva Sunner posted a tweet explaining that Nintendo had sent them and their channel over 1,300 copyright blocks. The channel, which is extremely popular, uploads full video game soundtracks, letting fans easily find their favorite track on YouTube. Now, keep in mind, they don't monetize the videos and they don't profit off them, yet Nintendo still decided to block hundreds of videos. And this is the part that I think a lot of people, and including Kotaku here that's reporting on this, here's the part that they really gloss over, is that they literally have to. If they don't defend their copyrights or their trademarks, they lose their trademarks, and they can't do that over some random YouTube channel. They have to defend everything at all times. Now, they mentioned that, so they have a list here of all the different ones. You can see it here on the screen. Of course, you can go check it out, or I guess you can't go check it out now. But after the copyright blocks went through and the dust settled, they shared a list of all the soundtracks that Nintendo had targeted and blocked from the site. And it's a long list, and it's everything from The Legend of Zelda, Super Smash Bros., Yoshi's Island, Super Mario, Mario and Luigi, Luigi's Mansion, Kid Icarus Uprising, Kirby's Dream Land. It's a ton of games, ton of games. Kotaku has contacted Nintendo about the copyright blocks and if the company has any plans to release its music on streaming services, and this isn't the first time that they've run afoul of Nintendo. Back in 2019, the same YouTuber was sent numerous copyright claims from Nintendo over other video game soundtrack uploads, and throughout 2022, he continued to receive copyright blocks from Nintendo, saying that I'm not angry or surprised that Nintendo is doing this, but I do think it's a bit disappointing that there is hardly an alternative. If Nintendo thinks that this is what needs to be done, I will let them take down the channel. It's their content after all, which, very mature, but yeah, until Nintendo decides to do something, just because you don't like the solution they've done, doesn't mean you get to go around and steal their stuff. So, while it's true that Nintendo is legally clear to strike down video uploaded through copyright content, it continues to be disappointing that the company doesn't wish to work with fans or its community to offer them more ways to listen to the music. And if anyone wants to be upset at Nintendo for anything, it's not that they did this. It's that there's no good alternative. If people wanted to listen to the soundtrack to their favorite Zelda game, YouTube traditionally was the best place to go. Nowadays, it seems they're going to have to go elsewhere. And where that is, I guess Nintendo really hasn't made up their mind yet. So, though considering how quickly the company has shut down any fan game or mod, it's unlikely Nintendo will be changing anytime soon. So there you go. Good luck with that. I mean, it's a very risky business to get into, and it's kind of a double-edged sword where you're going to get a lot of traffic because you are uploading something that a lot of people enjoy. A lot of people really like and enjoy the soundtrack to a lot of these iconic games, some of the best-selling games in video game history. But because of that traffic and that attention, you're going to get attention from Nintendo themselves, and yeah, you're just kind of piggybacking, or you're piggybacking off of their success, and your success is tied to their success, and hey, they were going to come down to you, and then they were going to come down on you eventually. So dark web, yeah, and of course this could very well lead a lot of people to pirate this music, to torrent this music, to get it through other means that isn't listening on a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel didn't exactly benefit the YouTuber. It didn't benefit Nintendo. All it did was clearly a customer service type deal. But this could drive people to illegally torrent or download this music instead. And, maybe Nintendo needs to find a way to get these soundtracks onto Spotify or YouTube Music or something like that. That seems to be what people are obviously asking for, and now it's up for them to do it. Now, there's that story. Let's see, we have a couple more here. Video game to video game to video game, the 3 time. Story number 3. Check this one out. This one just made me real warm and fuzzy inside. And I know that this came out a couple days ago, but it was after our last podcast, so now we get to talk about it today. Ubisoft. They have NFTs, and the crowd goes wild. Hey! No. They have NFTs, and there were a lot of critics about them. And, well, one executive took it upon himself to talk about this, and they mentioned that the critics just don't get it. Even though time and time again, people are kind of waking up to this idea that NFTs are kind of a Ponzi scheme. It's, how it's not a pyramid scheme, no one knows, but yeah. So they mentioned that an Ubisoft executive has responded to the backlash against the company's plans to push NFTs to its game. In December, the publisher announced Quartz, an NFT platform to let people buy and sell unique digital items, calling them digits. Both employees and consumers criticized the move, with many expressing concern about the environmental impact, and one Ubisoft developer saying they're just another way to milk money. And yeah, I mean, this idea has kind of been around for a while. You can look at marketplaces, and you can look at things like the Steam marketplace when it comes to Counter-Strike Global Offensive. They have crates, they have randomly generated skins. Some of them are very, very rare. Some are common, some are worth a penny, some are worth tens of thousands of dollars. Things like that, but instead of owning just one of a few skins, you now own skin number 32 of 100. It's much the same principle, and then of course you can buy and sell and trade these skins. Much the same principle that's already existed, just now they're putting them in order. So they mentioned that within 24 hours, they mentioned that more than 35,000 people had clicked the dislike button. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But Ubisoft's first foray into NFTs hasn't exactly gone well. They mentioned that sales have been very sluggish. Many people who earned them through the campaign, and then they were supposed to sell them through this marketplace, tons of people earned them. Almost no one is buying these things. And honestly, that's kind of for the better. And they mentioned that someone who bought one, which is a gun skin with a small, unique serial number, told Waypoint that it didn't feel different from using any other cosmetic, but the custom serial and ability to view it outside of Ghost Recon experience really added a level of ownership that I appreciate. Well, that's, someone's experience with Tom Clancy and Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Nevertheless, Vice President of Ubisoft Strategic Innovations Lab suggested that players simply aren't understanding the utility of NFTs. Think about that. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people reacted negatively to this concept of integrating NFTs into your game, and you have the massive, hefty cojones to go in front of all of them and say, they just don't get it. They're mistaken. They just don't understand. It's truly, this is someone who is a man of courage. Now, they say, quote, "I think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring them. For now, because of the current situation and context of NFTs, gamers really believe it's first destroying the planet and second just a tool for speculation. But what we at Ubisoft are seeing first is the end game. The end game is about giving players the opportunity to resell their items once they're finished, and they're finished playing the game itself. So really, it's for them. It's really beneficial, but they don't get it for now." So I like how he mentioned they are killing the planet, and they're nothing but speculation, and his response to that was, well, look at the end game. There's tons of speculation to be had, and I'm not even going to mention the whole killing the planet thing again. Like, he didn't really address the key issues that he himself even raised. It makes no sense. He's also said that Ubisoft considered announcing quartz without making any reference to the fact that digits are actually NFTs, but decided against it that players would have recognized what was going on anyway. So we decided that it would not be very smart to try to hide it. Our principle is to build a safe place and safe environment with quartz, so we need to be transparent on what we are doing. I'm glad the idea of subterfuge entered their brain, and they are patting themselves on the back for going, at least we're not lying. We're just doing something that's kind of awful. At least we're not lying about it, though. I don't know where this guy gets off. So, with that being said, along with claims that they can be tantamount to a pyramid scheme, many critics have expressed concern about the environmental impacts, and that is because many NFTs are committed to the Ethereum blockchain. And the Ethereum blockchain is, while it's not as bad as the Bitcoin blockchain, it's still very intensive for the electricity that it uses to kind of verify everything. And because it uses electricity and it uses computing power, it actually uses about 8,000 kilowatts of electricity in about a year. So there you go. An artist who sold an NFT collection last year said that the process used up more than 8,000 kilowatts of electricity, which is more than his studio's power consumption from previous 2 years. So clearly these things are not, completely without environmental impact. Ubisoft says that the Tezos system is optimized for requiring less power consumption than other blockchains. It claims a Digits transaction is around as much energy as 30 seconds of video streaming. In any case, Quartz doesn't seem to offer anything different than, say, a Steam marketplace. NFTs in general, and of course, when they try to shoehorn them into games, and I kind of get it. It's kind of like having a car, and then when you're done driving the car, you can then sell the car as used to someone else. And there's a secondary market, and much like, there's of course the first-hand market for cars, and you go to a dealership, you buy it, so on and so forth. This gentleman wants to be the lead in developing Quartz to be the second-hand used car market, which is just as big, if not bigger, than buying a new car. It's a whole nother marketplace. It's a lot of revenue that they could be generating. The problem I think a lot of people have is that first, NFTs are really controversial at the moment, and second, he's selling a strictly digital product. If you want another skin, Control-C, Control-V, just duplicate it. I get that they are making them artificially scarce by committing them to a blockchain and saying that, no, this bunch of zeros and ones is a very particular set of zeros and ones. Sure, you could get something very simple that looks exactly like it in form and function, but that doesn't matter. No. you need this one, not not the billion other ones that you could make with a simple click of a button. It's a hard sell for people. And there's a growing, I mean, I can say cult, and I wouldn't be too far off. There's a growing movement of people who I kind of fear buy into their own bullcrap, And it's just not good. It's just not good. And it sounds like, and I mean this with all respect, this executive has been huffing his own supply, and I don't see him, kind of coming off of it. So, okay, so there's that one. I think we're going to, we have 3 more stories. And let's go ahead and move on from the video games and go to this one. You may have heard about this. It made fairly big news a couple of days ago. There was a Twitter account that was tracking Elon Musk's flight. And the problem with that was that the Twitter account was using publicly available data to track which flights, where they were registering their flight logs to, and where he was going, where he was coming from, that kind of thing. And Elon Musk, he took note of it. And instead of, real quick, let's see, Magic the Gathering, obviously. Know a guy that made fake Magic the Gathering cards. He got found out and got run out of town. That guy needs to, kind of NFTs are, I don't buy them fundamentally for what they are. I would say Magic the Gathering, though, there are only so many first edition Black Lotuses. There are only so many of a physical object that have existed in good condition for so many years. Making, there's fraud, and then there's what this guy's trying to do, which is turn nothing into something, which is not exactly fraud, but it comes darn close, It really does come close. As for the guy that made fake Magic the Gathering cards, screw that guy. Yeah, screw that guy. But no, okay. So anyways, this story, once again, Elon Musk, Twitter account, someone was tracking his flight logs, and his personal jet had been making international headlines recently, obviously because he was, tracking it. In the account, they said that as we reported last week, Musk sent a private message to Elon Jet account owner. He's a 19-year-old Jack Sweeney, asking him to take it down over concerns for his safety. The account only makes Sweeney about $20 a month, but Musk made an unsolicited offer of $5,000 to make it slightly harder for crazy people to shoot me. So Musk has concerns about his safety and just being tracked. And when he says slightly harder, it's very much exactly that. Because if you wanted to find his personal jet flight logs, those are publicly available. All the information was just curated in a singular Twitter account. And, that's a much worse look for Elon Musk, but obviously it's not information that, was obtained through drones or anything like that. Now, the point is, not content with having the world's richest person personally reach out to ask you a favor, Sweeney upped the ante by asking for $50,000 and a Tesla or SpaceX internship. Think about that. This guy, whether you love him or hate him, Elon Musk is just a man. This guy said, hey, could you please stop tracking me? And also, here's $5,000 to compensate you for the trouble of closing down a project that you have worked on. Clearly, this guy is the epitome of capitalism. Instead, this kid, 19 years old, says, $50,000. I know you can afford it. You're so rich. $50,000 and a Tesla or a SpaceX internship. Weeks went by without a response, so instead of doing what most people in his situation would do, Sweeney reached out to media outlets around the world to tell his story, presumably in the hopes that Musk would see it and agree to pay up. Yeah, I guess tried to publicly shame him for not giving him $50,000 and an internship. Instead, the opposite happened. Since the story was first reported, Musk implemented some additional blocking technology to make his jet harder to track. He also reached out to Sweeney to say it didn't feel right to pay to shut this down. The nail in the coffin took place yesterday when Musk blocked the Twitter account, all but ending Sweeney's hopes of a payday and a potential job at Tesla or SpaceX. So, yeah, this instead of getting $5,000 and maybe having some kind of notoriety and some kind of relationship with Elon Musk, instead block. He went around and made sure that his jet could not be tracked as easily, and did not get his $50,000 that he was asking for. Obviously, the article puts it well, saying Sweeney had a golden opportunity to help Musk and in the process earn some good karma and extra cash. Instead, he went to countless media outlets to brag about what he had done and to say that $5,000 wasn't enough to replace the satisfaction he gets for working on the account. Now he'll have to do it without extra cash and Musk on his bad side. So, but of course, thanks to the Streisand effect, Musk said, "I don't like this, take this down." And since then, the Twitter account went from 80,000 followers to over 200,000. Which is, he lost the monetary value, but 200,000 followers is nothing to sneeze at. I'm sure a lot of companies would love to have that kind of pull. As for the kid should be charged with stalking, I mean, aggregating publicly available information, by and large, is not really stalking. But the way that he was handling it and the way that he reacted, I mean, clearly he was not mature. And I got to say, Elon not doing business with this guy was probably the right call. It was seemed very fishy that a 19-year-old should be given that kind of money to do something that simple. Because hey, who knows? He might have just started up again right after. If he had agreed to the $5,000, he might have just started another one. So I think Musk came out ahead in this one. And yeah, someone got greedy. Just couldn't do it. Okay, so there's that one. Speaking of greedy, this will be the next one, and this is just an end of the year report. But check this out: the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, Americans lost. Well, if you guessed $770 million from social media fraud, yeah, you'd be right. And I believe that's for the 2021 year alone, just under $1 billion. So if you lost money, you are not alone. You are part of a large group of people. They said that as revealed by the FTC, over 95,000 U.S. consumers reported losses of roughly $770 million after getting scammed on social media platforms. This amounts to a quarter of all losses to fraud reported in 2021, showing a massive 18-fold increase over the 2017 reported losses and more than double in 2020. It's that's a lot of money. That's a lot of people getting scammed on social media. And unfortunately, I think that a lot of them are not the most tech savvy, obviously. So in a lot of ways, it's the most vulnerable who are getting taken for all this kind of money. So they mentioned that the top social media scams of 2021, and this is good just for myself and everyone else out there, to find out how this worked, well, romance scams were the second most profitable fraud on social media after reaching record highs during last year. However, the most significant number of scam reports linked to social media were sent by people who lost money to online shopping scams where marketed products were not delivered. Saying that, quote, in nearly 70% of these reports, people said that they placed an order, usually after seeing an ad, but never got the merchandise. Some reports even describe ads that impersonated real online retailers that drove people to a lookalike website, which is not really hard. To give a good example of this, think about Amazon.com. And think about smile.amazon.com. Everyone, you should be using smile.amazon.com. They donate a portion to charity every time you make a purchase through Amazon. But my point is, it is technically a different site. It's the exact same site when it comes to merchandise, when it comes to prices and sales and your cart and functionality, all that good stuff. But when it comes to actually checking out, it is a different service altogether. And yeah, someone can make a copy of a site, someone can make a copy of, let's say, the Gap, and redirect people there, put in your payment details, pay for things, and suddenly, hey, you just got scammed. It's not too hard. So that was the nearly 70% of these reports. People said that they placed an order and did not get the merchandise, and there you go. So they mentioned how you can avoid getting scammed. Limit who can see your posts and information on social media. All platforms collect information about you and your activities, but visit your privacy settings to set some restrictions. That helps a lot for companies that want to advertise these malicious links to you. You can decide, I'm not going to share my likes, my whereabouts, so on and so forth. It makes it harder to target you as an individual for these types of scams. So they say that check if you can opt out of targeted advertising. That definitely helps a lot. And if you get a message from a friend about an opportunity or an urgent need for money, call them. Their account may have been hacked, especially if you have to pay by cryptocurrency, gift card, or wire transfer. Big one on the gift card. Elon Musk is not going to ask you for a gift card and then reimburse you for 10 times the amount. Before you buy, check out the company, search online for its name, plus scam or complaint. In November, the FBI also alerted online shoppers that they risk losing $53 million on holiday scams after warning Americans on April 2020 that sharing personal info online will only help scammers. And it's not difficult. It takes 2 seconds for a savvy computer user to, do that simple Google search, and it would save a lot of money. $770 million across 95,000 people. And remember, this is only the people that admitted to it and reported it. I'm sure that there is some level of person that said to themselves, I can't believe I just got robbed. I can't believe this is, I am the victim of this. I thought I was smarter than this. I'm not going to tell a soul, and I'm just going to walk away from the money. Of the people reported, this is how much. And again, it doubled in just over a year. Really incredible. So there you go. There's that story. I think the last story we're going to cover is Grindr. For those who don't know, Grindr is a dating app. It's a dating app that kind of sort of caters to the LGBTQ plus lifestyle. It's a gay dating app. Dating app Grindr disappears from Apple's App Store in China. That's the big part, in China. And I'm sure that a lot of people listening will think to themselves, never knew it was in China to begin with. That's actually pretty surprising. They said that Grindr is still facing trouble in China. Bloomberg reports that gay dating app has disappeared from the App Store in the country, with researchers estimating the software was removed on January 27th. There was no immediate explanation for the departure, but it came just days after China's Cyberspace Administration launched a campaign to purge illegal online material, porn, and rumors ahead of the Winter Olympics. So yeah, the Chinese government is going in full lockdown mode. Winter Olympics are coming. We have to look good on the international stage, and we have to, fight anything that might make China look bad. Obviously, the app's departure came after weeks of glitches with the Grindr service, such as problems adding likes or sending messages. Now, here's the key thing. Homosexuality is not a crime in China. Nonetheless, the country has occasionally censored gay or other LGBT content, and they note that the National Radio and Television Administration has recently used homophobic terms to blast androgynous-looking men and has calls for boycotts of gay male love stories. If regulators ordered Grindr's removal, it may have been part of this larger campaign to impose social conformity, which is, hey, we're China. We're not gay. Yeah, so they say. Now, with that said, Grindr already had a fraught relationship with the Chinese government. The company was Chinese-owned before it was forced to sell due to U.S. sanctions. And China-based rivals like Blued remain in the App Store. If those apps persist, their presence would suggest China singled out Grindr instead of targeting all gay dating apps. So, it's more of a wait-and-see kind of thing, but it would make sense ahead of the Winter Olympics that China's looking to really get a hold on the online conversation and, make sure nothing like that would happen. They said that whatever the reason, the removal highlights a constant problem for Apple and other foreign app store owners who want to operate in China. While they may tout the importance of freedom and privacy in their home countries, China rules frequently force them to pull apps or exclude features if they want to continue to participate in the largest mobile device market. Simply put, companies like Apple have to accept compromises if they want to retain their Chinese presence. And Apple in particular, they're going to do this for a number of reasons, but the first one is they believe that, quote unquote, their country, their rules. If the government sends a legal, lawful takedown in their own country, then Apple has to comply to that. They can't just say, oh, we're an American company. We don't have to listen to you, China, in China. No, they have to operate like that. Now, one would hope that a principled, respectable American company would go, that doesn't jive with our personal view of the world, and that doesn't sit well with us. We're going to pull out of China. But no, it's so much money. It's such a big market that Apple in particular has even sent Tim Apple, to China itself to work with the government there to invest billions and billions of dollars into local, build up the people there, community investment in China itself. The two are really tight, and they're not going to leave anytime soon. But yeah, you can definitely see that there. And well, I'm not surprised. And if China wanted it down for any reason, I hope that we eventually find out the reason why it was removed. But they really don't need one because they're China and they're the Chinese government and they operate everything inside China. So that's really all there is to that. So good luck with Grindr. We'll see how that goes. Everyone, that's about all the news we had for today. Oh my God, the time flew by. Everyone, I apologize. I really wanted to keep this under half an hour and, well, I blew right through that. So everyone, thank you for tuning into the program. That's it for the podcast. You want to find out more, computeramerica.com computeramerica.com. That's all you need to know. Twitch.tv/computeramerica if you would like to check out the chat room. And of course, Rover is over there, would really love someone to moderate and, potentially ban. So good luck with that. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.